Hello, it's the Old Geek, and I have in front of me issue 20 of The Dragon. I know I've done quite a few dragons in a row now. I'm going to get back to White Dwarfs very soon. I just wanted to catch up chronologically with the dragons because Dragon is going monthly at this point, and White Dwarf is going every other month. So I believe with this one, the November 1978 edition, we're now pretty much in sync again with the White Dwarf. So, White Dwarf next time, I promise. This is issue 20, volume 3, number 6, November 1978, costing $2. We had a price wise last issue. And you see, this is a horrible Halloween issue. More witchcraft, demonology, mythos of Polynesia, Lords of the Rings preview, and Imperium, best game of 1977. Okay, so the cover is clearly Halloween inspired with yeah, it's sort of comic Halloween though, isn't it? If you look at it, it's not really spooky Halloween, apart from the horses. The horses look great, the nightmares, but the rest of the picture's a bit nah. It's not their worst cover, certainly not their best cover. The images, okay. Not a fan of the horseman's trousers. Though I like the fact that he's a laughing skull head. Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, it's Halloween. It's yeah. Let's move on. The lettering is awful. I'm just going to say the lettering on that cover is awful. Look at that, orange on an orangey background. That 20. That 0 looks pathetic, and down here I had to squint to read horrible Halloween issue. So more witchcraft. Look, I've just read it again. More witchcraft in D&D. I didn't even see that bit the first time. That's not how you put lettering on a cover. It's terrible. Right, Ralpatha still. I think the images are getting a little bit clearer. Again, it could be the scan. It could be the scan. The images are getting a little bit clearer. Son of Orcon. Son of Orcon. Okay. Dungeons and Dragons tournament. January the 5th, 6th and 7th, 1978 at California State University, Fullerton. Admission $3.50 in advance or £5 on the door. Did I just say £5? I'm thinking in my money, $5, which of course is less than £5. That's cheap. That's very, very cheap. Is that a $3.50 for all day, all weekend? That's incredibly cheap. Let's move on. No colour. I'm wondering if this is a. Is that for Halloween? They've gone black? I don't know. Okay, let's take a look at this table of contents. We've got features. Imperium, new look at witches in D&D. Photo album from Gen Con. Interesting. Preview. Oh, it's a Lord of the Rings movie preview. Okay. Imperium clarification. A lot of Imperium in this one. It's a good day to die. D&D death stats. Okay. Mythos of Polynesia. Demonology. Oh, interesting. A traveller thing. WOTR variant. True hidden moves. No idea what that's about. Demonic. Oh, lots of demon stuff. Yee. Review. Source of the Nile. See Africa and die. Okay. And a bit of Dragon Mirth. No info as to who did the cover art. Right. For those of you who might not have guessed it from last issue, we found it necessary to make some changes. The biggest one that most people noticed was the cover price increase. For 2 long years, tried everything else in an effort to stay even with inflation. Paper alone has gone up 21% in the past 2 years. Yeah. It happens. That's called the passage of time. Right. Let's skip on forward. Making of a winner, Imperium Outstanding Game of 1977. It's sci-fi. I don't know anything about Imperium. So let's keep on scrolling. Look what they're doing again. They're doing it again. Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, the continued on page 24 for the editorial bit. Continued on page 28. Dragon Rumble's number 19 Redux. How it should have read. Oh. Editor's note, last issue we printed two similar but different editorials. Unfortunately, some errors were made on the page onto which they were continued, running the two together and mixing up their intents. This caused a considerable amount of confusion, so we are taking the rather extraordinary action of reprinting the botched pieces in their entirety. Fair enough. Okay. Nothing wrong with accepting your mistakes, correcting them, and then moving on. That's called being a grown-up. Here's another bit of them being a grown-up. All-Star Snit's last issue, actually number 18, we ran the All-Star Snit review but inadvertently forgot the artist's name, Jeff D. Jeff is a very talented young man, an avid D&D and EPT player and DM as well as an excellent self-taught illustrator, not to mention his creative talents. No slight was meant. And there's a job opportunity to work directly with Gary Gygax on fantasy of all sorts. Typing, spelling and proofreading skills are paramount. Right, so I'd love to know who got that job. So if you know who got that job, if it's one of the names that we know, then let me know. Distributing eyes and amulets in EPT, Empire of the Petal Throne. More random treasure tables. Random treasure tables. The amulet of ruling the rune. The amulet of safety amidst putrefaction. The eye of triumphant passage through infernos. The eye of strengthening the majesty of weapons. Great names. Great names. Love them. Bit of art. Oh, it's a Star Trek advert. Okay. The Mythos of Polynesia. This is another one of those slightly inadequate Mythos articles. Great for the names. Sadly lacking in necessary detail. Maki. I've heard that name before. Isn't that the name of a dwarf planet or asteroid or something like that? There's certainly a Maki in our galaxy. It's not make, it's Maki, I believe. Or Maka. Pele the Destroyer. He was a footballer. And he certainly was a destroyer. I wonder if it was named after that god. Maybe. Hormea and Maki. Yes, Hormea is another dwarf planet or asteroid thing. Wow. Maui? Yeah. Some of these names I've heard. I mean, I don't know anything about... Well, I've got a degree in geography, so I know a little bit about Polynesia, Hawaii, and all those Pacific islands. But it's nice to see some familiar names in amongst the others. So Maui was a hero. Right. This one looks odd. Papa, the Earth Mother. Papa is a nickname for Dad. Wormy! Woo, that was an embarrassing situation. How's your neck, Frank? It's almost done now. I can still see that thing flying straight at me with those big glassy eyes. That's that thing that was chopping him to bits. No kidding, did you hear the way it screamed? God, that was awful. What do you suppose it was, Dudley? Search me, maybe some kind of demon or something. Nobody plays pool with Wormy. Oh, no wonder nobody plays pool with Wormy. Shucks, who could stay alive long enough to learn the rules? Oh, I'd like to see them ogres shooting these loaded balls. Listen. That's good. Quick, Get another in case this is a dud. Too late, I hear Wormy coming. Shh. Right, what are they doing? These bombs or something that they're putting booby-trapped pool balls? We'll find out. We'll find out. Another look at witches and witchcraft in D&D, because it's Halloween. So what sort of magic should a witch have? These level titles look quite good. Amethyst Witch, Topaz Witch, Sapphire Witch, Ruby Witch, and so on. Enchantress, Sorceress, Oracle. Yeah, I like those. Inherent abilities, making items and brewing potions and narcotics. Yep, sounds familiar. There's the familiar. What sort of spells are they're going to have? Yeah, they're going to have enchantment and polymorphing and maybe a bit of necromancy. Maybe a bit of healing and trickery, that sort of thing. I would have thought, yes. So not all witches are bad. You get white witches, you get good witches, you get bad witches. But what should you do with all witches? Burn them! Burn the witch! So where's resist fire? Sorry. No, I mean, I like the idea of a specific witch type class, because it is a standard trope, and witches feature in so much of our inspiration, in the legends, the literature, the films that come from those legends and literature. So good. A witch. Marvellous. Don't know if it's balanced or not. Who cares? If it's not balanced, you use it as NPC. Demonology made easy. How to deal with Orcus for fun and profit. The demons and the devils are probably my favourite part of the Monster Manual, and I liked how they did them all. With names based on, again, myth and legend, biblical demons and devils, names that we were familiar with, Beelzebul, for example, Mephistopheles also appeared. These are names that conjure up images, and I found that I love the themes behind demons and devils. I particularly like devils. I like the idea of souls and making a promise and making a pact with someone who will twist your words. Love it. So it's an article to come back and read. Definitely an article to come back and read. Is that meant to be Orcus? Is that? It's a Trampio picture. Is that meant to be Orcus? I always thought of him a bit more bloated than that. Now that's what I call a random demon. Yes, indeed. Pig snout, little tiny baby dragon wings. It looks like birds, chicken feet or something like that. Yeah. The International DM search is on. The Dragon is compiling a list of DMs to be published sometime in the late fall. Just send them a message saying, I'm a DM, come and play with me. Very early form of LFG, looking for group. Right, pictures from Gen Con. J. Eric Holmes and his son. Brian Bloom of TSR. Yes, that's a name that strikes fear into gamers of a certain age. Brian Bloom. Oh, there's a bit of Gygax. Mike Carr, another familiar name. Cool. Cool. Is that Gary Gygax's daughter? Didn't she appear in an advert? Hmm. Don Kay, recognise that name? That's what Tim Kask used to look like. I've seen him as a curmudgeon in the cupboard nowadays, or whatever he calls himself. Young Tim Kask. See Africa and Die, or Meet Mr. Stanley, Meet Dr. Livingston. A review complete with some suggested rules alterations and additions of Source of the Nile. I watched some of that Blackmore film the other day, and they mentioned Source of the Nile. Yeah, Dave Wesley, he was on it. Ross Maker. Yes, I recognise those names. They were on it. So this is that Source of the Nile they were talking about. Cool. And they were talking about how in Blackmore, what's the name of the? I only watched bits of it yesterday. The History of Blackmore one. They were talking about how they used to take rules and adapt them, and they used a referee and introduced role-playing elements into their historical battles. And this is an example of it in The Dragon, adapting rules. Gygax is taking the rules and suggesting alterations and additions, and that's how games develop. That's how D&D would have developed. Moving on, the Asimov cluster. This is Traveller. Keep on moving. I'll pause on there in case you're a Traveller fan. You can zoom in and read it. More of that. Continued on page 25. A foremost evil far beneath the earth. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, the release of 3 modules. Descent into the depths of the earth. Shrine of the Kurtoa and Vault of the Drow. I have never run. I've read them. I love them to bits. But I've never run them. Because I'd like to run them organically with characters that have been cherished all the way up to level 10 to 14, so that the players play them seriously. They want to keep their characters alive, they want to experience it, but in a genuine manner. And maybe I never will, but maybe one day I'll get to run them. Maybe. Last time G3 killed them all. Okay, right, now this is interesting because here Alan Hammack, who wrote a which module? Ghost Tower of Inverness, I think. He's previewing the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings adaptation, which of course had a mixture of live film coloured in to make it look cartoony. I remember I watched this in my teens. I can't remember what I thought of it. I'm not a film critic, so I've not seen it in a very long time. But look at this first line: "You had better do it right, or you're dead." That's Tolkien nerds for you. Ralph Bakshi says that this is the general tone of the mail he received, since the public was made aware that it was in the process of filming Tolkien's epic Lord of the Rings. Now, no, I'm not going to give opinions on that. I know there are people who really, really like it, and who would like to have seen it all finished, but there are people who don't. I can't give an opinion. It has been more than 35 years since I cast eyes on it. I do remember the way the animation worked, and I think I liked that when I was a youngling. But I don't remember. I don't remember it at all. Right, that's the end of the run. But why? Look. That short little bit they couldn't quite squeeze on page 1. They move it to page 20 something. Imperium. Oh, it's a little advert. And this is demonology. At least this is half a page that's been moved. Really didn't need to be, did it? Did it? Did it? Asimov cluster from page 21. This is more of the traveller thing. I'm not going to... Look, I know you're probably frustrated with me harping on about this style of editing, but I'm not going to stop harping on about it. If you don't like me harping on about it, you might as well not bother watching the rest of my videos on this, because it really annoys me. Breaks my concentration. It's a good day to die. Death statistics of D&D players. A study of the most common ways in which players bite the dust using statistics from the last few years of our campaign here in Saskatoon. So they've been keeping a record of exactly how all the characters have died. Look how many character deaths have been. 10%, 10.1% of character deaths. That's 61. So you're talking 610. Quick maths. Over 600 deaths in the campaign in a couple of years to goblinoid races. 45 to dragons, 34 to giants, 26 to general combat. Other characters. Humans, NPCs. Lycanthropes, quite common. Execution, torture and sacrifice. 23 characters have been executed, tortured to death, or sacrificed. Look, I love that level of nerdery. I really do love that level of nerdery. Magnificent. So where's traps? Where's traps on there? There's not many. Unless miscellaneous causes include 85. Miscellaneous causes might include traps. I don't know. Oh, cursed items, booby traps, 12. Fair enough. This is a level of absolute nerdery that I applaud. I really applaud. Okay, let's move along. More of the Polynesia stuff. Righty ho. Artifacts. Back issues. WOTR is War of the Ring. Okay, that's a war game, I guess. More Imperium. Tribes of Crane is an advert. Phineas Fingers is something I'm not reading. Convention schedule, marvellous. Lots of conventions. Where are they all based? Oakland University. MI. Michigan. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Urbana, Illinois. Jacksonville, Florida. Another one at Wisconsin. So they're all American ones, but that's understandable. Some more Imperium. Has that been spread over three sections? Chaosium. RuneQuest scenario and source packs. Wonder when they start with Call of Cthulhu. I'll have to look that up. Demonic possession in the dungeon. Yeah. The effects of possession, the effects of the means of possessing, exorcism, effects of exorcism. I like this. See these pictures. Looking semi-normal, ain't it? Marvellous. Yeah, this is the sort of article I would have lapped up, and I probably still will. I like this sort of thing. It appeals to my sense of humour. There was possession, wasn't there, in Before the Lost City? Yes, there was. Very interesting level, that is. Very interesting dungeon level. And that's it. Right, let's have a general recap of the issue. Obviously, it is Halloween, so they put Halloween-y things in there, and they focused on demons and witches. Nothing really ghostly, which is a bit of a shame. But Demons of Witch, yeah. The Witch, love it. Demons and Devils stuff, love it. There's a good variety in this issue. The editing's crap as usual. Well, just the scattering. I'm not going to say anything regarding if there's any typos. I didn't spot any or that sort of stuff. But the scattering is just annoying. Still no sign of a letters page coming back. Wormy, bit nonplussed by Wormy this issue. But it looks like it's a serial, isn't it? So we'll possibly have a little bit of a comeback next issue. I don't think it's bad. I mean, the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings movie, nice to see that previewed. Pictures from Gen Con, interesting. Witches, yes. Polynesian myths, I probably wouldn't use it, but it's made me go, oh, because I recognise some of the names. A bit of wargaming in there, but all in all, I think it's an above average issue for the witches, the demons, and the devils. Or just demons. Don't think that's really devils. Witches and demons. Yeah. Witches and demons actually make it good. Anyway, I've been the Old Geek. Hope you enjoyed this little read through. I'll see you next time.